Da 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 da. Everybody out there, I hope you combed your hair, trimmed your beard, put on your finest clothes because today we are joined by an unbelievable guest. Television star, host of the Greg Peterson Experience on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, DraftKings analyst, Texas Roadhouse aficionado, the man who has an entire sport named after him, Greg Hoops Peterson.
Grant, it is a pleasure, my friend. That was just a great introduction. And by the way, in case we were wondering, yes, the check is in the mail.
That's good. Hey, if you want to invoice, look, we're growing over here. We just gave away some money in our last video, so it looks like everybody's coming from my pockets right now. But you know what? Business is business, and I got to respect that. Greg actually helped me out a tremendous amount. He's brought me on his show numerous times, and now he's helping me out again by coming back on the channel. So everybody, I'm going to leave links to Greg's work where you can find him on VSiN, his Twitter. Greg's got one of the best Twitter accounts in the game right now. Yes, I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I refuse to change. But go drop him a follow. He's got content, betting, insights, analysis, and just a lot of laughs. I love how you engage with the trolls. But yeah, make sure you guys, whatever you want to do, you want to go support Greg, you want to tweet him, just make sure you show him some love for coming on the channel today.
Always do appreciate, yes. We've always got to have some laughs because there are some people that take things a little bit too seriously, but at the very least, we know that every single day around here, it is Christmas.
Yes, we were talking about that in pre-production here. Greg said that, well, actually, I noticed he's got a very festive decoration going on in the background. And is this just never going away, or is it just like just for this year you're leaving it up, or what's the deal? How long is this going to be there?
I'm going to probably be there for forever. I'm too lazy to rip down the Christmas tree. And my wife is like, oh, we should just leave the Christmas tree up. So I'm like, great, I don't have to take it down. So you know what? We'll just go with the fact that every single day is Christmas when you're able to pick some winners. So that's why we're going to leave it up, and I am all on board with it.
Well, hey, if it feels like Christmas every day for when we're picking winners, then hopefully by the time you guys are hearing this, it's Christmas Day, and we've got some good picks going for him. And Greg, seeing as you are the guest, you have the choice. Would you like to go first with your picks, or you want me to go first here?
We will default to you, and we will follow your lead.
Okay, I'm just going to start it off with what I think is the easiest pick on the board. Now, I will say that Greg and I are recording this on Friday while the games are still in progress. So, first of all, if there are any major injuries or anything like that, I'll be leaving them in the pinned comment on this video. Hopefully, we don't have anything like that. But obviously, Greg's got to get on over to the studio later, so we couldn't record at 1, 2, 3 a.m. like I normally do. So, I don't have a line value for this one, but I would assume that I would make it -1 million because I see no reason why the Baltimore Orioles don't cover -1.5 against the Colorado Rockies. Kyle Bradish is going to get the start here. He's 8-6 with a 3.03 ERA and a 1.10 WHIP, going against Chris Flexen, Greg's favorite. I'm sure he can talk about it in a little bit. He's 1-5 with a 7.18 ERA and a 1.79 WHIP. Yes, a 1.79. Bradish has a 1.90 ERA this month. He had a 2.25 last month. And Flexen has a 6.31 ERA in 5 games with the Rockies. Maybe that's an improvement on the 7.19 for the season, but hey, it's still not that good. He's also got a 9.35 ERA on the road this season, this game being played in Baltimore. The Rockies are 20-46 away from home. Orioles 38-24 at home. The bullpens aren't even remotely close. The offenses aren't even remotely close, and the Rockies offense just happens to be significantly worse on the road. At the time of recording this, again, we don't know the final score of the game. I believe the Orioles are up 1-0 right now, but they have covered in 7 of their last 10 games. The Rockies have covered in just 4 of their last 14. Greg, that's my first pick. Let me hear what you think.
I like it with Chris Flexen. It has been rough. We all loved him during the 2020 season when there were no sports going down. He was doing great work with the Doosan Bears. Unfortunately, the Doosan Bears, they play teams like the Kiwoom Heroes and company, and the Baltimore Orioles, they're not the Kiwoom Heroes. And for Kyle Bradish, he's really done a good job of being able to do a better job of not giving out as many walks. I think there might be a little bit of regression coming for this Orioles offense, as really been one of the best in the American League since the All-Star break. But do I think it's coming against Chris Flexen? Oh, heck no. I think that they should cover the -1.5 as well.
Awesome. That's good news. Hey, you said it might be Christmas, so maybe it's Christmas Eve with that one. All right, Greg, let's hear your first pick.
We are going to be going with a total in this one. I am looking at the under with regards to the Detroit Tigers going up against the Houston Astros. Seeing anywhere between 8.5 and 9, a 50-50 divide as we do this right now, whether you've got an 8.5 or a 9. I do like this total under as got Hunter Brown, who's going to be going for the Houston Astros. He does have an ERA that's hovering in the neighborhood of about a 4.50, but what I think is interesting is that his ERA at home hovering more around about a 5.46. He's had a little bit of a tough time with command at home rather than on the road. On the road, this falls to sub 4. He's only been giving out about 2.3 walks per 9 innings when he has been on the road. And what I think is the biggest thing for Hunter Brown in this spot is he's going up against the Detroit Tigers offense that has been a little bit more respectable with Kerry Carpenter and Spencer Torkelson getting some home runs recently. Yes, but at the same time, 29th in the league with regards to runs per game. That is relatively brutal. They are still a bottom 6 team in the big leagues with regards to home runs per at-bat when they're at home. They have a tough time being able to move the line. Meanwhile, you've got a Houston Astros team that they certainly have been able to match, but now they have to go up against Eduardo Rodriguez, posting up nearly a 2.75 ERA at home, has given up 2 runs or fewer in 5 out of his last 7 starts, actually. And when it comes to this Detroit Tigers bullpen, it's been halfway okay when you get into the trustworthy guys like an Andrew Vasquez and company. When you get into the longer guys, it can be a little bit more of a horse apiece situation, but I do think that for Eduardo Rodriguez, he's going to be able to shut it down. He's been one of the better pitchers in the American League this year. Got a guy in Hunter Brown that the advanced numbers look to him for some positivity. He's got that 4.50 ERA, but more like a 4 fielding, dependent a half a point lower than his ERA. So I do think that this is a good spot for a little bit of a lack of offense. I do think that the Astros bullpen, which ranks at the top 8 in the big leagues, going to be able to do their part as well. So looking at under whether you've got 8.5 or 9 in the Astros versus the Tigers game.
I like that pick. I'm looking at the scores right now because, again, these games are still going on as we record. Bottom of the 4th inning in that Tigers-Astros game, the score is 1-0. So certainly we're on pace for an under today.
And Framber Valdez was struggling coming into this one, by the way, too.
Yeah, I'll be honest here. I actually took the over in this game, so maybe it's not looking the best for me. But Matt Manning, I mean, he's been better as of late, but still not that great of a pitcher overall, in my opinion. Certainly numbers to the start of the season weren't that good. And Valdez, he had, I think, a 5 ERA this month and like a 9 ERA last month. So yeah, I thought it was a good time to fade him. Maybe I should have gone with Tigers run line. It's the 4th inning. We're going to find out one way or the other.
Yeah.
My second pick here, since you're going with the totals, I will continue the trend here. I'm going to take Dodgers-Red Sox over 9.5 runs. This game is being played in Boston, which right away is a good thing if you're a Red Sox fan because their offense is significantly better at home than it is on the road. That being said, they did just put a 17-piece on the Astros, tied a franchise record for the Astros for their worst loss ever. But first of all, I guess that means they have good momentum. They built some good karma, good feeling it going back to their home territory. And then also, like I said, they do just play better at Fenway. But on the mound in this one is going to be Julio Urias, who is 11-6 with a 4.15 ERA, a 1.09 WHIP, going against James Paxton, who's got a 3.79 ERA for the year. I think he's been overperforming a little bit, and it has started to regress. He's got a 5.31 this month, had a 4.91 last month. Now, Urias, I will say this is far and away the best month that he's had. He's got a 1.44 ERA this month, but his ERA on the road this season is a 6.80. Again, this game is being played in Boston, a 6.80 ERA on the road. And if you look at his last 4 road games, one of them was a shutout. One of them he gave up 8 earned runs. The other one was a shutout. The other one he gave up 5 earned runs. So maybe we're going a little bit boom or bust with this pick, but considering what the Red Sox have done at their home field and also, again, just the 17 runs the other day, I think they're going to be in pretty good spirits. And then also, if you look at the scoring trends, the Dodgers are 3rd in scoring overall over the course of the season. They are 4th since the All-Star break. Dodgers bullpen has been improving, but at the same time, the Red Sox has been regressing. So I think this is a good matchup for the over here. I don't think I said the line. It's 9.5. I didn't say that, but I'm taking the over here.
Yep. Anything above 9.5, I'd have a little bit of trepidation with, but at a 9.5, I do agree with you. And also with the Red Sox, top batting average in the big leagues at home thus far this season. They're hitting about 45 points higher when they're at home rather than on the road. So I'm with you on that over.
Awesome. Hey, what I say, guys, great betting information like that. Greg's going to be tweeting it out later today, or at least at some point, I'm sure. So make sure you guys drop him a follow. All right, Greg, what's your second pick?
How about if we go to my home state of Wisconsin? You got the Brewers. They're going to be taking on the San Diego Padres as Freddie Peralta is going to be on the bump for the Brewers, and Pedro Avila is on the bump for the Padres. And the Padres They're about a plus 115 with the Brewers. They're between about a minus 130 to a minus 135. I think the Brewers should be closer to like a minus 155 in this spot. Freddie Peralta has really been able to find it, coming off of a dynamic last start against the Texas Rangers, going on the road, punched out a double-figure amount of men. For Freddie Peralta, it's been an up-and-down season all year from, but 3 runs of fear surrender, and now 4 out of his last 5 starts. This looks like the Freddie Peralta that we saw when he was able to make the All-Star team a few seasons ago, and the Brewers bullpen has been really good behind him as well. You've got the likes of a Joel Payamps, Hobie Miller, and then you've got Abner Uribe, who, if you have not heard about this guy, he throws 100-plus miles per hour, comes out of the bullpen. He's a future stud. All these guys give you a sub-2.5 ERA, getting into Devin Williams, so you feel good at the back end. Now, he goes up against someone at Pedro Avila that, if you're looking at the good, he's got a 1.17 ERA. The bad news is this is a 23-inning sample size. The fielding dependent is more than double that. And at the AAA level, he had a 1-6 record with an 8.57 ERA. I'm thinking that this is built on a little bit of sand, and I do think that we're going to see a little bit of regression. At the minor league level, Avila was giving out right around 5 walks per 9 innings. So the good news is he does go up against a Milwaukee Brewers team that they've had a rough time being able to put bat to ball. They've been towards the bottom of the National League with regards to batting average, but you've had Carlos Santana give you 6+ home runs since he's gotten in the fold. Sal Frelick has been able to do a good job moving the line. Christian Yelich looks to be a little bit of a reborn man. And for the San Diego Padres, they were actually leading the National League with regards to bullpen ERA going into like late June, early July. It's seen a little bit of a fall from there. They've obviously got the former Brewer and Josh Hader, but some of these guys like Steven Wilson, Robert Suarez, they've been a little bit questionable. And for the Padres, this has been one of the most rough teams with regards to being able to hit with men in scoring position as well. We've seen ups and downs from the likes of Fernando Tatis Jr. and company. The Brewers, I do think that they should be able to defend their home turf. Really like the way that Freddie Peralta is rolling, and I'm going to lay the number here with the Brewers.
Yeah, I think this is a very good pick. Here's a little funny story, actually. We instituted a no-bet policy on the San Diego Padres on this channel not too long ago because them and the Toronto Blue Jays, I swear, they have no problems getting people to second and third, and then they just don't score. They'll go under, and then we'll say, okay, it's time to fade the Padres because they stink, and they'll win 15-2, and it's like, oh my God, the Padres are back, and then they lose again. So we had about a 2-week no-bet policy on the Padres, but this is the time to be betting on the Brewers. They win back-to-back against the Twins. They sweep the Rangers. They get swept by the Dodgers, but I mean, that's going to happen to everybody. Get good results against the White Sox and the Rockies and the Pirates. Like they've got a good month of baseball they've been putting together lately. And I think this, like I said, and like you said, this is just the right time to get them.
Oh, I'm right there with you. And I don't blame you for that no-bet policy on the Padres. If you have just done nothing other than bet against the San Diego Padres all season long, you are up a mondo amount of units. So not a bad policy to have.
Nope, not at all. And I will say today, again, as we record this, I am laying the 1.5 on the New York Mets, which is a team that you normally should have a no-bet policy on as well. So I'm hanging on to the edge of my seat here. We got Kodai Senga, though, and I got plus 150 for the value against an Angels team that's dealing with Ohtani and the torn UCL and all that. So I felt it was the right time to capitalize. By the time this video comes out, we're going to know whether that was a smart play or not. But my third and final pick here, I'm going to take the Washington Nationals plus 1.5 versus the Miami Marlins. Yes, the Marlins offense has started to look a little better lately, but when you're the worst offense in the league statistically, it's not hard to look better than that. You just got to not be, again, the worst team in the league. Jake Irvin is getting the start for the Nationals here. He's not the best. I mean, he's got a 4.47 ERA and a 1.40 whip, but he does have a 2.65 in 3 starts this month. He's going against Yuri Perez. If you haven't seen Yuri Perez play, highly recommend tuning into one of his games. He's a 6'8", 20-year-old that deals it at 100 miles an hour. That's television, if nothing less. He has good numbers, 2.91 ERA, 1.07 whip. I will say he has a 4.91 ERA in 3 starts this month. He had a 9.95 ERA last month, but he gave up 6 earned runs in 0.1 innings to the Atlanta Braves. Another rule on this channel, Greg, if a pitcher has had their season numbers destroyed by the Atlanta Braves, we don't count it against them. We do the math, and we figure out their numbers without the Braves. It's almost like, how there's BC and AD with dates. There's like an AB after Braves and before Braves that we're rocking with. Where was I here? I lost my track of my notes. Oh, since the All-Star break, the Nationals are 7th in scoring. Like I was talking about with the Marlins, they are 29th. And the Nationals actually score more runs per game on the road than they do at their home stadium. They've been pretty good at home lately, but if you remember, it was kind of their bugaboo that's why their record was so bad. They just couldn't scrape together any wins when they were in DC. The Marlins do play better at home as well, but it is what it is. Neither one of these teams have good bullpens. Over the last month, they ranked 17th and 19th in ERA. At that point, I mean, there's really not – I'm not going to say a 17th place is better than 19th place. It means these guys give up a lot of runs. They do it consistently. Neither one of them is really going to separate from the other. And the Nationals have been really profitable against the spread lately. They've covered in 7 of their last 9 pending Friday's result. The Marlins just twice in their last 7 games. I'm taking the Nationals plus 1.5 here, and I do see a world easily in which they win this game, but I'm going to be safer, take the plus 1.5.
I like that pick right there with the Washington Nationals. They certainly have been able to make you quite a bit of money, and Jake Irvin has been a little bit of an improved player, and Yuri Perez, a little bit rough coming off of that strange minor league stint, but ever since he has gotten a few starts under him, it looks like he's getting more and more sharp by the start as well. So I do think that is going to be a fun one to take a look at, and I think that may be a little bit of a sneaky pitcher's duel.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. But yeah, listen, if Greg likes my picks, then I'm a happy man. Let's hear your third and final pick here of the show, the last one of the show today.
How about if we go with a run line in this one between the Royals and the Mariners? You've got Logan Gilbert going for the Mariners, and you got Jordan Lyles on the bump for the Kansas City Royals. And the Kansas City Royals, they are 3-21 when Jordan Lyles starts this year. If you have gotten plus 600 on the money line in every Jordan Lyles start thus far this season, you're still down 6 units. I mean, good grief. Actually, you're down 5 units, but man, it's been a rough state of affairs, to say the least, for this Kansas City Royals team. And I'll give them a little bit of credit. They actually have been able to do a good job with regards to raw batting average since the All-Star break. They're actually number 1 in the American League with that regard, but they also don't walk at all. They're going up against Logan Gilbert, who's been able to do a pretty masterful job for the Seattle Mariners. Does a solid job keeping the ball in the yard, gives up about 1 home run per 9 innings. It's really been able to cut down on those walks. And for the Seattle Mariners, you've got Julio Rodriguez, who, when he's been out there in the fold, he's been, over the last 2 weeks, just the hottest hitter on the face of planet Earth. And Eugenio Suarez, Cal Raleigh being able to provide home runs is big. And for the Mariners, have they been a little bit testy in late game circumstances where they're up by like 1 to 2 runs? Yes, they have been, but still a top 5 team with regards to bullpen ERA for the Royals. You just struggle to have anyone with a sub 450 ERA in this bullpen. The likes of Taylor Clark, Jackson Cower, guys like this, they have just been absolutely awful. Lyles has been one of the biggest fades in all of baseball this year. A 6.20 ERA, which goes north of 7 when he's on the road, giving up nearly 2 home runs per 9 innings. And for Lyles, even when he pitches well, the bullpen just completely trash cans the game on him. There's just no trusting in Jordan Lyles when he's on the mound again. 3-21 in his starts this year are our good friends, the Kansas City Royals. This is a spot where I'm going to be taking a look at the run line of the Seattle Mariners. You're able to get it at a very reasonable, right around minus 110 to minus 112 as we record this. And I can tell you right now, if you're taking a look at this and you're hearing this overnight, you're probably not going to be getting it any cheaper if you wait. So probably want to take it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, if this is the pick 5, win 5. So if I was giving out my 5 best picks today, Greg, did I do the intro? I don't think I did the intro. I might have to put it in the post edit. But yeah, if I was giving out my 5 favorite picks, this would be in my top 5. I love this play. The Mariners have covered, I think, in 19 of the last 27, something like that. To your point, Julio Rodriguez was not only the hottest batter on the face of the earth at a point in time, the hottest batter in the history of baseball, as far as getting those 17 hits in 4 games, 4 straight with 4+ hits. And the team was rallying around him. They were winning games left, right, and center against really good opponents. They sweep the Astros. All of a sudden, that American League West is going to be the Rangers, the Astros, the Mariners. That's maybe the biggest situation to watch in baseball right now, aside from Shohei Ohtani's next team. So yeah, if I'm taking this run line, absolutely. I'm locking this one up. I love this pick.
Oh man, me too. And I mean, sometimes it's boring making the same pick over and over, but if it keeps hitting, why go away from it? That's my thoughts here. So glad that you agree.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny you said that again. I think now I'm trying to think now, how many rules do we actually have on this channel? Because you've inspired me to remember of a few. But leading into the All-Star break for a month, it was we're taking the Braves every single day, and they cashed a majority of those. And then Mariners, I said during their hot streak, I said they're not as good as them, but they are approaching Braves territory where if you get them for a fair price, you take the Mariners. And, they lost their last game to the Sox. They've got one going on as we record. We'll see what the result of that is. But I don't think the hot streak is over. I think this team's going to stay hot for a while.
Yep, I think so as well. And look out for the Dodgers as well, because I do think that the Atlanta Braves are demonstratively that number one team in the National League. But the Dodgers have really been able to play some good baseball ever since the bullpen has been able to get their act together as well.
Yep, I 100% agree. Greg, that does it for today's show. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Grant, it is a pleasure, my friend. And I know you join me every week on the Greg Peterson Experience on VSiN. So it was nice to be able to return the favor this time around.
Well, we tremendously appreciate it. Everybody in the comments, we had Tanner Kern on here last time. I told you all to go tweet Tanner. Thank you, Tanner. Tweet Greg. Thank you, Greg. Hopefully we get his numbers up. I mean, he doesn't need our help for that. This guy's an absolute stud. But go out there showing some love, drop him a follow, and maybe we can bring him back a few months down the line during football season. Who knows? He is a busy man. He's all over the place. But thank you, Greg, and thank each and every one of you for tuning into the channel. Like the video if you did enjoy. Comment. Let me know what your favorite plays of the day are. Subscribe to the channel for even more betting content. And until next time, I will see you very soon. Have a great day.